Hi YouTube, she's back. It was fuzz in my eye off my sweater probably. But yeah. Um oh I had a lot to say and then I'm like, "Phew, okay, just a minute, I'll light the rest of my cigarette here and we'll talk." How unfair is it for spirits that are fallen angels much older than God's kids um to try to get ahead of God and fool the children and hurt them out of jealousy when these beings were made advanced. God literally skipped steps that he did with the creation of children, literally skipped steps to make the angels, and they didn't appreciate that. That's what's going on here. So Adam and Eve were intentionally made to make the 144,000 to battle these demons in this time. That's what this is all about. You kids out there of God, you warriors, that's why you're here. Literally as warriors. So don't feel bad for what you're doing. You will be honored and you will be taken care of in every extreme, everything, because your hearts are good anyway, so you can't do anything wrong. Satan can do that to you. Satan can even make you think you did something you didn't do. And that's a big thing, people. That's a big thing with everybody. Examine your life like step by step and the things that you did wrong. What happened right before you did these wrongs? You see what I mean? Was it an actual choice that you had planned and premeditated for like forever? Or was it a spur of the moment situation type thing? Maybe that's not a good analogy because everybody's different. Uh, yeah, I'll ace that one. But it doesn't hurt to examine our life step by step and see exactly what led us into when we screwed up. You know, that's a good way to see how Satan got you at that point. Like, were you sick? Did something happen? Um, oh, he likes to get you when, like, if you're in a hospital bed, or even if you had excessive use in your life, which I know a person this is the case, my vision and all that, and then your body failed you because of that, you can still heal from the inside out with Jesus. I mean, he will and can do that. Okay, going back to um being in well, it was something about the hospital bed. Just a minute, I'll get it back. I always do. It's like I got so many, like Lionel Nation would say, so many plates spinning at one time, you know. But yeah, I mean these now they're creatures are so far advanced until this point now. We're way ahead. But they were advanced to begin with and they didn't appreciate that. How low life is that? You know? That's low life. You know, to take advantage of weaker just because you can. And then when you can't, what then? What say you now? Whoever's watching me, that's one of them. You know? Really, what do you got to say? You know? Try and overtake God and think, oh, nothing of it. Like God didn't think ahead of time that that was going to happen. Of course, God knew that was going to happen. He knows everybody he made. Everybody. And the good thing is when you're close to God, he lets you know everybody too from the inside out. So you cannot be fooled. The closer and closer you get, you just can't be deceived at all. Doesn't work like that. Um, situations will put you in situations that will play right into their hands, neither here nor there. It's the end gate, the end time that matters, not what we're doing like right now, you know. So, if that makes sense, you know. So, yes, it was a good day. Oh, yeah. So, when they came up with that gematria, which is absolutely, there's no need for it. Numbers, really, there is no need for numbers, even in measurements. Now, they could argue that what would be a stone measurement or an actual foot, or, they can argue all they want. All is good, but all isn't fair in love and war. See, real love doesn't have war. So that's one of them stupid sayings that goes around this planet that I could live without, you know. So, like, you can't have good without evil. What? There seems to me that I've had days, say, like if I'm out swimming or fishing or spending a whole day at the beach doing whatever I want, and there's no evil in sight and it's just good, that's pretty dang good. And I can tell you that good can exist without evil. And I certainly would know now, all our souls and spirits would know that there was evil and what that was. And what is good is pretty decent, you know? So, that type of thing. Some people learn it a little sooner than others, you know? Some of us go around more than once, you know? So, anyway, no more going around for me. You can make me. You couldn't make me come back and say I love this world the way it is. No. Yeah, make me goes back to the same old, my same old thing. I'll say it every day. I'll pound it into everybody's head that thinks they're God. Make a raindrop. Just a raindrop. I'm not talking about blood or flesh or the organs inside of us that they say they can recreate all this stuff. And I'm saying I'm calling a huge amount of bullshit on sciences. And I'll tell you what, I do have a field scope, or I mean, yes, I have a telescope too, a microscope, and I can analyze their germ warfare, which I did um, come up with for Morgellons, which is what they put inside Christ's kids. That's how it's activated actually by being nice. The same as Christ's blood can take them out with their dirty soul. So it works on the same principle. And the gestation periods of uh, the several, I'll just call them bacteriums, but they're actually a fluke, a insect, and what they call alien technology is the black goo, petroleum based. So they took like a petroleum, and it might have been if we got polio shots or what vaccines we got, or different things that would help them, or even something we ate that would help them activate these things. And I did not miss, SJD, your comment with the itchy ear. Robin's got itchy ears. Robin's got itchy ears. You repeated it because you thought it was so funny. Well, buddy, I have itchy ears too, and I know exactly what you're talking about. Because when the Illuminati tries to poison Christ's kids, we do suffer with it. Varying degrees for everybody. But it affects our skins and it affects our internal organs. Um, like my son Jonathan was born with a more rounded tummy, but it became more muscle bound after that. And different things that happen to us that Christ will heal from the inside out, but they try to do to us before we are born, even, and perhaps that same day. So, um, but anyway, yes, I analyze that stuff. I haven't quite found a way to kill it. Um, water, water will kill it. Cold water will kill it, but not on us or in us. If I take like I'll just call them the bacteriums, and put it into water, it starts dissolving. First, it just like it can't move, and then it starts dissolving. But how would we, unless it was a total blood transfusion, how would we put 100% pure water in our blood and flush any kind of disease they gave us out of us? See what I mean? So I haven't found a way to kill it yet, but I have kept it at bay with several life practices. And yeah, keeping happy and keeping God in your heart is the number one healer for me daily. Like daily, if I get a nasty attitude, I'm not getting that. I'm not feeling healed, and that's how that works. So SAD, I wouldn't wish itchy ears on you, but if you're going to perpetuate hurting people, I will ask God to more than itch your ears. Okay? I just can't stand it. That's freaking juvenile. And actually, the fallen angels themselves are like the most, they're like spoiled brats, like narcissistic little dirty spoiled brats, and literally inbred. It's like, no, thank you. I don't want to mess with something that looks exactly like me. It's like I'd rather kind of, I don't, and I don't go out of my species, you know. I'd like to kind of find somebody that doesn't look like a family member, that type of thing. Oh, yeah, that's the truth. Truth don't hurt me, you know. I'm serious about that. Boy, I was heartbroken one time though. I did have this I'll call her a friend. She was a friend. Um her name was Susan. She was raped by her brother when she was a young teenage girl. Um but old enough to get pregnant. And she gave birth to a Matthew. So, um a wonderful kid, just a absolutely wonderful kid. Well, when he found out exactly who both his parents were, he tried to drink gasoline and kill himself. And they put him in the hospital. He was in there for a long time. I think it was like a year or something. And, well, anyway, so I got to know these people at a place I was working, her husband and her and his stepson, her son. And we were pretty close. We had started looking at chemtrails in 1990, literally tracking trails way back then. So one time, I don't know if it was electronic ignition or starter or something went out in our car, and this kid pulled up. I call him kid, but he was like in his 20s at that point. And Matthew pulled up, and Doug was talking to him, and um, Doug said something about him being inbred, and I told him, you're really a jerk. I said hi, so I'm like, I'm sorry, Matthew. Doug's not a nice person. So, um, a nice person would not hurt a human being that tried to kill themselves because they found out the truth. So yeah, that is actually what I deal with, the type of people I've always dealt with. And I do deal with them, believe me, no matter what it takes. First, I'll have God guide me. If it gets real severe, then I don't let Satan guide me, but my strength is more, if that makes sense. So, um, at this point, not the way the world is, but I still got something, and Satan doesn't like it. He don't like any of us anyway, but so yeah, I mean, as long as there are people out there trying to harm other people in any way or make money off them, usurp their information, and um, take it away and use it for their own. And oh, today also I was talking about um, oh, it's totally off topic, so I'll go back to that. As long as there's people out there um, hurting other people, I don't care what I say or do. If God tells me this is the right thing to say or do, that's what's going to happen. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not in control of that. I am in control of my language, but sometimes I don't take that into consideration because I don't have to. So, and I think everybody that's fighting for God, you know exactly what I just said. So, it's all good. So, oh yeah, today I was talking about acrylic based paints that are water soluble. So you can just clean them up with water. And it's better than latex because latex is a petroleum product. Well, acrylic is the plastic too, but it's hard and it doesn't leach like a latex would. So you can clean it up with water. It's acrylic. And clean it up with water, and then when it dries, it's like tougher than fingernail polish. That's acrylic. Or if you've ever seen acrylic tables, excuse me a minute, um, or that type of thing, it's so hard. You can take a hammer or acrylic floors. You know what I mean? Those. Oh, they have. The Norwegians came out with it, where they're commercial, where you can take a hammer and smack it. And I went and looked at some, and I told the guy, he goes, "Yeah, you could take a hammer and beat on it." And I said, I guarantee you that you would not want me to take a hammer and beat on this. I was putting 8-penny nails through hardwood today, so, you know, and whatever it takes, however big, whatever, I don't care. So yeah, I should have drilled some holes quick, but I was in a hurry. So it's like, was it worth it? I don't know. Sure got to work out putting up some ox board and um making her a stable, and my horse a stable, and my chicken a coop is what it is. So yeah, I'm probably gonna I'm thinking about putting a little feeder for Dusty in there. She does have in the corner her salt block, so um I don't know. I'll just see what's going on. Materials cost money, so it's like I just use up what I have and then I'll just keep building whatever we're doing, and that's the way things go. Do what we can. The chicken was a stray, for anybody that doesn't know. Last winter, Doug brought her up to the window. She was following him around a truck. She was skinny. She was so dehydrated. Her beak had literally receded in her face. Um, so I took an old rabbit cage that I use for her food now and put her in there and put rubber mats over it and got her off the ground with one of my old wagons and made her a little ramp and she stayed close to the house when she was first here because I was scared of all the stray cats and it was winter time. I couldn't put no poles in for like chicken wire. I didn't have a hutch, nothing like that. So it's like psh, a straight chicken for God's sake. Come on, really? I know I live in the country, but doesn't that like take the cake? You know? Doug said she ran away from home because she knew she'd have it better here. you know, God does work like that. Perhaps it's true because she's so sensitive. I could see somebody even looking at her wrong, and she'd be like, "The heck with this." My horse like that too. You look at her cross-eyed, and she gets she's sensitive, very sensitive. So yeah. Smart, that type of thing. She was really wild when I got her. So when I was building her first barn, I made out of slab wood, oak slab wood. Um, Big ass chunks, like about 240 pounds each, that type of thing. I'm not kidding. And then I put poles up that were like 20 foot tall and stuff. This was like a long time ago. Um, well, anyway, so she wouldn't attack me when I was working because I had her in there with me. I started singing bingo, but I used Dusty. So I go Dusty. When I'm pounding, I'm hammering, I go Dusty, and Dusty was her name. Oh. And she just loved it. So then I could work around her without her being crazy because I said, if you like bump this ladder or do anything squirrely, I'm going to get the rope and I'm going to cobble you, hog tie you, and tip you over. I'm sick of it. So one time she was acting up. I mean, this horse was crazy with good reason. She had some abuse problems. So, um, but she was acting kind of snorty, and I took a rope and I lassoed one of them 20-foot poles I had put up. I had about oh 17 feet sticking out of the ground, and I looped it up there and I ganked it down, and she just looked at me and went, ah. It's like, yeah, because when I first got her, I had to tie her to a tree with a 30-foot rope. So she didn't go freaking crazy. She was rearing up. She pulled a tree out of the ground, and I had to go run with her to get her around another one real quick, staying out of the way the whole time and stuff. This thing was crazy. And now she bows for me, you know. But yeah, it was a little rough. It was fun as shit. Man, she is the biggest freaking horse I ever saw. And, well, not saw, I rode, I was sitting on the Budweiser horses. So, but, as far as the horses I broke, and I broke some big quarter horses and Mustangs out in Montana. And they're big. They call them like pudding foots, just big old. But being that she's part thoroughbred, she's taller. And when she reared up, she's freaking wicked. When I first got her, I thought this is way too cool. Then she kind of went after Doug because he was offering an apple. And I said, you better get up. Don't kneel down in front of this horse. Not right now. So, yeah, he told me he knew horses because he had been around his uncles up in Canada. But it's like, no, not that one. I even went on wild horses twice up in the mountains and asked if I could sit on this. Both of them were buckskins. The first one, I asked if I could sit on his back, and I talked him into it. And I got on the side of the mountain where the mountain was high enough and he was low enough, and I could jump on him easier. It's pretty beautiful color buckskin horse. And uh, then another one, I didn't get on it, but I tamed it, and it was pretty radical. A big old stud buckskin up with his brood mares, which is pretty dangerous. But we were living on a mountain, and I had a cabin, and I had to pack water from the creek, dishes and whatnot. So, um, even drinking because it was clean where they had the spring coming out of the ground. Well, anyway, um, because I cleaned this mansion that was down in the valley. They owned the cabin. So anyway, on the way up the mountain, so these horses didn't chase my kid when he was out there and stuff. I got him accustomed to him for a while until they had an argument. But that's enough. He didn't get hurt or nothing. But yeah, I called him over to me and I gentled him and then one day I just put Luke and John right on his back and we kind of walked around. I had them both around the waist. They were, oh, about 6.5 and 3, somewhere around in there. But I had them both up on this big old horse and we were talking and walking, all of us, so I could just swoop him down if he got crazy. But, and then Native American cop down there gave Luke a buck knife and he was out there hanging on the fence and he was telling the stud horse, come here, you slice your throat out. And then they hated each other because he would run towards the fence to Luke, but Luke got scared. So then they weren't really friends anymore. And then after that, when I did move, I didn't really at that time have the time to take more time with the horse and the kid in the situation, which kind of things were really crazy because there was times like their dad was down in Phoenix in the valley and we were up there and I had my job and whatnot. He was supposed to be supposedly working or whatever. And then things would come home with the crazy stuff. Narcissistic stuff is all I can say. And I could say let bygones be bygone and bygone. you know. So there's a lot of times and just because and it was the abuse my kids went through that really angered me. Um Things that I really wasn't even aware of at first. And there was times where I considered just driving where he lived and running him over. So God does take care of me. And I have reason. I have, oh, you think you've been through some stuff, you probably have. And I'm not, no doubt in my mind, not a doubt in my mind. Everybody has. I'm not going to say I've been through more. That wouldn't be righteous of me. Um, I will say it's some ungodly, unnatural, unheard of in a lot of ways things that happen that are so vile that retarded wouldn't even cover it. Evil wouldn't even cover it. It's like beyond anything that normal people imagine. Those types of things. So yeah, I had reason to think that I wanted to go drive over him, and it wasn't a secret because the day I kicked him out, I literally broke his leg. So my that was out of fear, so he couldn't attack me while I was kicking him out. So this is somebody that would wake me up punching me and rape. So yeah, when I told him he could stay in another room, just don't bring no hose bags home and be with your kids. And this is my house, and I was working and paying for it. So at the school system, so paraprofessional at a sheriff's boys ranch for the state of Minnesota. And somebody say, oh yeah, like for the counseling, and I was a TMA, well, nurse too, but counselor in a drug rehab. So, and some other psychological training that helps the emotionally and mentally handicapped. So anyway, when I had this person over on, yeah, it's Hamish High Frequency. I'm concerned about his kids, so hey, I hope you don't hate me for speaking your name on this, but I'm telling you, I see signs, and the guy's like, "How dare you say Satan's in that little boy?" I said, "No, I didn't even mince more words with this guy. My exact words are still written over there. What I said was, Satan will get at the little boy while the dad's going through hell. So, and the hell he's going through is his house burned down, um, family separation, um, and now what I suspect. And that's why this dirty, Satanistic piece of shit wants to keep that dad from understanding what's going on. And when I seen a boy that I knew, I mean, I know the fire, I've been through the fire, and I think this is why God, maybe just for this man, I have no idea. But my son was a little bit younger. But when a kid goes from on not being kind of ignorant to taking a truck and smacking his dad in the head with it, and then his dad and him were building a road, and the kid was being, I mean, kids get tired, yes, but this kid crawled onto his dad's back, lifted up his body, and I saw it in his eyes, and came slamming down in the small of Hamish's back. And I saw the look on the kid's face. I've raised, and I worked in a preschool too, and I worked for Head Start with children, you know, handicapped. So, I mean, yes, I know exactly what I'm talking about and just what I saw. I just can't prove it. And I had the Satanistic SOB getting in the way of all that. So, hey, help me pray on that. Help them see that there's other layers to be aware of his destruction right now. Satan's working hard trying to destroy the. He just accepted Jesus Christ in his life about 2 months ago. Literally, I swear to God. That's what's going on here. So please say your prayers. And this has been on my mind, and it's not cool. So anyway, if you guys could help. Oh, it's 33. I'll wait a little bit more out of respect. I love y'all. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad people from different channels are getting to know each other and, you know, the things we have in common. It's pretty cool. For real. Oh, I guess I gotta wait till at least 34, and it's counting down. But yeah, I'm glad I got that off my mind, and maybe the resolve and us praying about it, maybe that will help the situation, because I wasn't indicating that it was necessarily an adult that hurt this child. Like I told Doug, older kids, like a 9-year-old girl with a 3-year-old boy, this type of thing. Older kids, I'm not saying this is what it was, and even the little girl that's his same age, but you gotta watch your kids. He said they were off playing, doing kid things, and I thought nowadays kid things aren't really kid things sometimes, so they need to be watched so closely it isn't even funny. It really isn't. It's so serious. If you're not with your kid every second, somebody else is. So, okay, people, I love you very much. I'm going to let this go through and have a wonderful day. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.